Florida because Florida was the first team up. I did want to say, though, that thank you so much to Greg Sankey, who had a shout out for some people that were not there, including me, and I appreciate that. Like I've said before, I wish I was there, and yet I don't wish I was there. You know what I mean? I wish I was there, but it's okay not to be there at the same time. That's the way I am. Wherever I am, I want to be the other place. So, like, if I was there, I'd be going, man, I wish I was home. But now I'm home, so I wish I was there. Anyway, we got a lot of special guests for you today, including the HBC. They wish out there they had Steve Spurrier. We've got him today. So we win. We win that one, okay? All right, one thing I did want to, and I'm only going to say this one more time, and then I'm going to stop saying it, okay? People, I have heard this over and over again, especially on radio, that there are 8 coaches who have never been to SEC Media Days before. And yes, it's true, there are 8 new coaches over the last 2 years. That is a true fact in the SEC, which tells you a lot about the SEC. But it's like everybody forgot in 2009 when Lane Kiffin was there. Lane Kiffin was the Tennessee coach. He was there at SEC Media Days. In fact, he was the last coach to go, and I went back and looked at the transcript of it. So just to make sure that I didn't miss anything, like he had slipped out and never did it. But if you remember, he got grilled because there was so much going on, and, you know, Urban was mad at him, everybody was mad at him, and then, of course, less than a year later, he left. And that is one thing that I was thinking about today, to think about where we were a year ago to where we are now. A year ago, of course, there were no SEC Media Days. A year ago, we weren't sure there was going to be a football season. You know, this was around the same time that the Big Ten was going, nope, we're not playing. Pac-12 said, whatever you say, Big Ten. SEC said, not so fast, my friends. We're going to play football. And the Big 12 joined them, and the ACC joined them, and that gave them the strength to have the football season. And, of course, eventually the other 2 Big 12 conferences kicked in as well, although they didn't play full seasons. But just think about where we were a year ago. And, look, we're still not anywhere near where we want to be. Sankey mentioning today that 6 of the 14 schools have passed the 80% threshold for testing, for vaccination. And we're going to be in a situation this year, and I think, I mean, he didn't say this, but I know this is going to be the case, where a team is going to get so depleted by contact testing and COVID that they're not going to say, hey, you guys don't have enough linebackers. All right, we'll postpone the game to another time. No, you forfeit. You're going to go NC State on it, because they're not going to just say, we didn't get tested, but we'll find a way to get the game in. You're going to have to forfeit games if you don't do it. Now, Dan Mullen was asked about it today, where they are on the COVID testing. He said, we're in great shape on it. Didn't give specific numbers. I know they're over 80%. I don't know. You have to get to 85 to not be tested during the year. And you don't have to wear masks in your facility if you get to 85%. Now, I've seen a lot of video with Florida players not masked in their indoor facility, so I assume that they're at 85%, but I don't know that. Mullen also talking about his offense today, saying, look, I'm not going to try to fit a square peg in a round hole, which I think is what we don't want him to do that. We want him to take these players and certainly with Emory Jones and do the best he can with them. He was also asked about how everybody's picking Georgia, and he said, didn't they say that last year? Well, again, here's a fact there. They picked Florida last year to win the East, and Florida did win the East. Another thing Dan said that was really interesting to me, he really wants to get rid of the permanent interdivision foes. And Florida, under Jeremy Foley, did not want to get rid of LSU because it was a great gate. Maybe because Mullins lost 2 in a row to LSU. He feels differently about that now. I don't know, but I don't know that any of that's ever going to happen. I think it's some schools don't want to see it happen, like Tennessee and Alabama kind of like that little rivalry thing they have going. There are other schools that are, do like Auburn and Georgia like that oldest ever rivalry thing that they have going. So I don't know that any of that's going to happen. The other news out of the day so far, and again, it's just started, DeMarcus Bowman did get his NCAA waiver, and he had to get one. And this is maybe literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, because he transferred before they blanketed everybody to, yeah, you can transfer once, it's fine. Well, he transferred. So, I mean, you should have just said anyway. I mean, there was never any doubt to me he was going to be eligible. So, Florida, again, with more running backs than they probably know what to do with right now. All right, even though we're not there, Robbie's going to be in here later on the show. Steve Spurrier's going to be here. And we have a correspondent out there, Philip G., joining us right now, live from Hoover, Alabama, where he is, it looks like you're in a parking lot of the Winfrey Hotel there, Philip.
I am in the parking lot of the Winfrey Hotel. Yes, the Winfrey Hotel in Hoover, Alabama. That's where I am.
Okay.
SEC Media Day.
SEC Media Days. All right. Yep. It looks like you got some rain there earlier today.
Yeah, there was a little storm that came through. It was okay. There's some thunder, some lightning. But I think we did okay. I'm sure it wasn't raining in Gainesville at the time, though.
No, we didn't get any rain here. All right, so what news can you tell us there, and what did you gather from the early part of SEC Media Days?
Well, I'll tell you, I have been very busy talking to a lot of people here at SEC Media Day at the Winfrey Hotel in Hoover, Alabama. I talked with a Kirby Smart, who told me that TJ Daniels might not actually be the starter at the University of Georgia. So that might be TJ Daniels might not start. I don't know. Greg Sankey wrote he wrote a poem that seemed pretty good. I just thought he was a commissioner, but apparently he's quite a poet. We did not know it. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I saw Dan Mullen of the Florida Gators. He was wearing a pair of Yeezys sneakers. And my sources tell me that he's got a verse on the new Kanye West album that's coming out next week. So that'll be something. I don't know what his plans are, but that's exciting.
All right. First of all, it's JT Daniels. Okay. Second of all,
JT
Daniels. Yeah. Second of all, he's the quarterback at Georgia. Second of all, I think what that poem that Greg Sankey was from Bob Dylan, I believe, or maybe it was Dylan Thomas, one of those.
I don't know, man. He read it like he wrote it. It was good. It was all about like the time is like gonna go on or something. I forget what it was exactly, but it was good. That guy's a poet. I'll tell you what.
All right, we're kind of losing your mic there, Philip G, because you're so far away. I know.
Yeah. Well, the rain in Hoover is something here.
Let me ask you a question. I'm just curious.
Sure.
Isn't that my car right behind you?
No. No, I'm in Hoover, Alabama. Are you also in Hoover, Alabama?
I think you're downstairs. I think that's where you are. You did not go to Hoover, Alabama. Come on.
All right, look, I thought it was on Zoom again, okay? I didn't realize it was in person. They told me this. I was like, okay, great, I'll Zoom in. It'll be fine. And then you were like, go to Hoover. And so I was going to go, but gas is really expensive, Pat. It's like almost $3 a gallon. So, yeah, I don't know. Whatever, man. Hoover's not that cool anyway.
Yeah.
Hey. I just thought it was, I didn't know. We were Zooming still, I thought.
Yeah, well, we are Zooming, but not for long, I can tell you.
Yeah, no. I'm still getting paid for this, though, right? You're still gonna pay me?
No. All right. All right, that's the kind of day we're going to have here today. We're going to have some fun. And thanks to Philip for joining us live from the parking lot downstairs. Right now, we're going to take a first break. And then when we come back, the HBC is going to join us. And I'm guarantee you, all those guys in Hoover are going to go, oh, man, I wish we were getting the HBC here. Instead, we're getting Eli Drinkwitz. Okay? Guys like that. So, although actually Eli is probably one of the more interesting guys. We got a lot to talk about. Robbie Andreu is going to be in a little bit later, and we're going to get to some really cool things there as well. you're watching not necessarily the SEC Media Days on Another Dooley Noted Podcast.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Car accidents, trucking accidents, motorcycle accidents, and wrongful death. If injured or killed by the negligence of others, who will fight for the compensation you deserve? Shakow and Mercadante, 5 lawyers, more than 100 years of combined legal experience, millions in settlements and verdicts. Call Shakow and Mercadante, 371-3000. Rebuilding lives.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Ribco To Go. Come on down and enjoy it. This is Pat Dooley encouraging you to become a member of the Gainesville Quarterback Club, the oldest organization anywhere dedicated to Gator football. The club meets weekly during football season with an impressive list of speakers, including Bobby Stoops, Bobby Bowden, Phil Fulmer, Steve Spurrier this year. Meetings are held at the Best Western Gateway Grand, and they have a special offer for you. The first 3 meetings you can attend for only $100. Believe me, this is a bargain, and trust me, you'll have a good time. Get off the bench, and it's time to score for the Gators by joining the Gainesville Quarterback Club. All right, welcome back to Another Dooley Noted Podcast, and we're lucky enough to have them. They can't have them in SEC Media Days in Hoover. The king of SEC Media Days was Steve Spurrier during his time. Do you miss going to that at all?
No, not really, but I think I may still hold the record of 23 of those things.
23 is a record.
Saban's on 19. I heard that on the radio.
He goes to 20 with this one. So, yeah.
Okay. So who else would be in the
Fulmer was up there, but he
16,
can't catch it. Dan Mullins, this will be his 13th, so
well, he could go.
Yeah, eventually go past you. Mm-hmm. But 23 of them, think about it. That's a lot of trips to that area, because some of it was at a different hotel.
Yeah, it was always sort of fun to get the players and get on the airplane and go to Hoover and get a sandwich to fly back with and all that kind of stuff. So, and you try to tell them, what to say a little bit. Just don't get too over rambunctious, things like that. So all the guys were pretty good.
Yeah, how did you decide what guys were going to go? Because at the time, it was only 2 guys for a long time there. Yeah.
It was only 2. We tried to bring a prominent offensive guy, and maybe a guy that talked well, and a prominent defensive guy, a starter, and go from that. And then we brought our kicker. I know the last time I was there, Elliott Fry.
Oh, he was good.
Good kicker.
Yep.
Yeah. He made every field goal in the Alliance League.
He was
14 out of 14.
Good. Did he go anywhere in the NFL yet?
Every time he tries out, he doesn't make them from 58 yards or something, so they get a guy with a bigger leg. But for clutch, Elliott Fry was one of the best I've ever had.
Well, he also had Ryan Suckup, who has lasted a long time.
Suckup got better as he in the NFL. He actually missed. He was in a slump a couple of games there at South Carolina, and he actually went to the golf coach with the eye hand stuff and all that. Right? Puggy Blackman helped him out, and he got a lot better.
Yeah, he had a couple of kicks blocked, as we know here in the Swamp in that big game, which I think the last one he would have made it if Jarvis Moss didn't get that hand up.
Hand way up. Oh, I don't know if he would have or not, but blocked an extra point that day too.
Did, yeah.
And then we kicked a 55-yard field goal, and the guy didn't snap it on time, the ref said. Right at the end of the first half. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that, yeah.
I said, why didn't you snap it? He said, well, he didn't tell me to. I said, golly.
Well, you know.
So he made that one, though.
He did, yeah. Do you remember this? I was just thinking about this. All these SEC Media Days of one year, Mike Pearson can't go because he hit his head on the garage riding in the back of a pickup truck.
Oh, yeah. That could have been serious.
Yeah.
But he was okay. Yeah, every now and then a guy will have some kind of accident or whatever. But, you just go over and talk a bit. I never said anything rambunctious, I don't think. Most of my corny little things about Tennessee or FSU was during those booster clubs.
Right.
You know, the Gator booster clubs during the summertime.
But what about when you told the commissioner everybody needs to go talk to him about the BCS and getting a playoff going here? You were way ahead of your time that way, yeah.
Commissioner Kramer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did tell him that. Yeah.
But, I mean, you wanted to see a playoff a long time before everybody else.
Yeah, every sport in the world has a playoff except college football. Why? My thinking is, why are we right and everybody else is wrong? That doesn't make sense, does it? Maybe everybody else is right and we're wrong. So at least we got a 4-team going to maybe 12.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Do you think that'll happen for sure? I mean, they can't really walk it back too much.
Yeah, I'd like to see at least 8, but 12 would be okay too. At least it'll give some teams a chance to get in the playoff. Gosh, basketball has, 68 teams? Baseball,
68.
How many they got? They got
64.
64, so
Yeah.
so at least football could have, 8 to 12, something in there.
Yeah, and you never know how many chances you guys would have had back in the when you were here in Florida to win championships, because you were always in the top 10, almost every year.
Top 5 or so forth. Well, we finished sometimes in the top 5 when we'd already lost a game. But, FSU was in the top 4 in the nation 11 of the 12 years we were here. So it was a little difficult trying to be number 1 or 2 when you got the team you got to beat before the SEC championship game. But anyway, we won those SECs. That was, to me, a little bit bigger maybe than just beating FSU. Certainly.
You would have liked to have seen that 2001 team get another shot, though, after that Tennessee game.
That was a good team. 98 team.
Yeah.
We lost at Tennessee in an overtime and that funky game at FSU, and those two played for the national championship. We had 4 or 5 teams that were almost as good as the 96 team, or right in there, very close.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, I know you just filmed something with Coach Fulmer.
Yeah, Coach Fulmer was in town. Terry Norvell and his sort of company wanted to just reminisce about some games and this, that, and the other, and the rivalry we had. The first 10 years of the division play, from 92 to 01, Tennessee and us won every division.
Right.
We won 7, they won 3. So I had to remind Phil of that. But they were second every year, and I think we were second every year that we didn't win.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So we'll see that somewhere down the road. Obviously, what we're dealing with now, and I don't know if this would be something you would like to deal with. I'm guessing no. But with all this NIL, just yesterday we heard the story about TexasAgs.com paying players $10,000 to only talk to them. Now, can you imagine if us media boys would not have been happy with that if we'd had to deal with that?
Yeah, was that approved? Is that okay?
Well, it's okay, yeah.
I would think they would have an obligation to talk to the media after games and things of that nature. But, it's going to be interesting how it all plays out, but it'll play out somehow. And the one thing about it, the universities are not spending money on them, so the outside interests and companies can spend money. So hopefully the players the ones that get the big chunks, can share it with their teammates a little bit.
Is that, though, when you look at all the transfer portal and NIL and obviously the increased playoff and all the things that are going on in college football today, are you kind of glad you're out of it?
Well, you got to hire more staff. Somebody asked me the other day, you got a staff of coaches, young guys that look at the portal. They actually scout and then will eventually recruit players from other schools,
right,
as well as just the high school players. And then the name, image, and likeness thing, the players, they got to do it on their off day. They all get an off day. But other than that, they should be all football, going to class and, practicing and so forth. So that's all you can do. It is a lot of busy work, it seems like. But you know what? I still bet the same teams that win all the time will be there all the time. So
you can still only put 11 players on the field.
Only put 11 out there. And the recruiting rankings haven't changed yet. Maybe they will in the years to come. Have to wait and see.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What is the one thing that you do miss about being a coach right now?
My favorite was the ball games themselves.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of it. And getting to know the players and this, that, and the other, and establishing a relationship over the next 20, 30, 40 years. And we've got the 95 and 96 teams coming. I think the Tennessee game this year.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Good.
it's finalized, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that 95 team was awfully good. We got clobbered by Nebraska, but they pretty much clobbered everybody else. They're still, the 95 team's the only one in school history that went undefeated in the regular season and won the SEC.
Right.
Urban had undefeated and lost the SEC.
Lost the SEC game, yeah.
95.
That was an impressive team. They were great. And I think they did fuel the players that came back for that 96 team. They worked a little harder, maybe. Got a little bit more done.
We had a few seniors on that 95
Yeah.
team. I know Kevin Carter was definitely, maybe Johnny Church. And
Jason
so forth.
Odom, yeah. Doring was a senior.
Odom.
Doring was a senior.
That's right.
Yeah.
Doring, 95 was his last year. Mm-hmm.
But that 96 team was amazing. What was that like, that 95 game? And there had to be a point where you just wished you could get off the field, right?
The Nebraska game?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the opening kickoff, one of our guys was blocking one of their guys and got his leg caught, tore his knee up. So they rolled him off. Nebraska scores a kickoff, and Quasi Green goes there and stops and did a split, and his hip came out of the joint.
That's right, yeah.
So he was gone for the game. I mean, it was bang, bang. Another guy went out, and then they ran the ball down our throats for 500 yards. So sometimes it goes bad, and it went bad that day.
Yeah, you talked about the Tennessee when you were talking to Coach Fulmer, and you were telling me the other day your record against him was 15-10, which
Not against him.
against Tennessee, yeah.
My record overall, Duke, South Carolina, and Florida. We were 8-4.
You were 8-4 against him, yeah.
Yeah, lost a couple heartbreakers though. Two of the most heartbreaking games. The '98 game and
98 was
overtime,
brutal.
And then the one here had to kick a bunch of little field goals and lost by 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember early in that game, Rex was having a hard time holding on to the ball. I think he fumbled once, and there was a deflected pick. But even then, you still had a chance.
Well, they ran the ball for Travis Stevens.
Travis
ran for
Stevens killed it
225 that night. But we had to kick field goals. Yeah, we got down there and didn't score touchdowns, and came back to get us.
Yeah. So, is there any part of media days that you miss? I mean, because you always seem to be having fun. We would always say, "Oh, we got to be there for Spurrier. Spurrier's going to be great."
I just talked a little different probably than most of the coaches, and I think the most interesting one was the first year. Mm-hmm. And Feinbaum's sitting over in the corner. He's trying to figure me out because they said, "What kind of team you got?" I said, "We got a good team. I really believe we do. We've already gone through spring practice. I knew we had a good team. And what's your goals?" I said, "We've got a team as good as we got now. The goal would be to win the SEC." And they're laughing and giggling. Win the SEC? Who is this guy from Duke? Guy from Duke thinks he's going to win in the mighty SEC. So it was interesting. And then, of course, we did win the SEC and then won it again the next year. So they said, well, he wasn't jiving. He was right. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to me, and I made this point when they talk about when Reggie Bush says, "I want my Heisman back," right? Because now everything is legal. And when the Ohio State players are saying, "We want all of our records restored because now everything we did was legal," well, then shouldn't the 90 team get the trophy back?
We didn't do anything illegal.
No, I know, but even the stuff that was done under Galen that caused that probation, is now legal to do.
Well, he really didn't do anything.
I know.
Do you know that? We think
The things they allege.
We think the Ford dealer in Palatka paid Jarvis Williams a child support payment. That's the only thing they had.
Right.
And so the infraction committee said, these guys haven't done anything. Why don't we just say they can't go to a bowl game? Okay, so if we're 5 and 6 or 4 and 8, we're not worth a crap. Well, we don't even have a penalty.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Right.
So they gave us nothing. So the Sugar Bowl had a deal with SEC. We get your champion. So we couldn't go to the bowl game, so we couldn't be called champ. And that's just the way it happened. But there was no cheating by Galen Hall. The guy before him was a big cheater, as we all know.
Yeah.
But Galen Hall was a good guy, and his staff was okay. That was just
Well, they even got Galen on paying a guy out of his own pocket. His defensive coordinator was Zaven Uralian, and he couldn't. They wouldn't approve enough money for him, so he said, "Look, I'll just give you some of my money," which is nothing wrong with that. But they made that into an infraction.
Oh, they tried to make every little thing illegal that nowadays is okay. And Jarvis went to Palatka to pay his child support payment. He had a guy down there taking care of a friend of the family. And one of the grad assistant guys, I think Bromley, drove him down there.
Right.
Well, that was a violation. Kind enough, poor Jarvis, he didn't have a car. He couldn't get down there. So GA drives him down there, and that's a violation. Come on, man. But anyway, that's sort of the way all that took place.
It's really interesting now. You think about Tennessee, how much trouble they were in, but now the NCAA and Mark Emmert says, we're not going to do anything about anything anymore. We're just going to run the lacrosse championships. I wonder if Tennessee is going to get off on this whole thing and not have to pay the price.
I don't know. I haven't read all exactly what they did. I know Arizona State University,
right?
Herm Edwards has some issues out there because they paid for some official visits.
During
got
COVID.
the receipts for it back during the COVID when no one was having official visits. So that'll be interesting out at Arizona State.
Well, we could see a Wild Wild West where everybody says, hey, we can do whatever we want now. If the NCAA is not coming in and investigating things.
They're not investigating like they used to, that's for sure. Yeah.
All right, before we let you go, I want you to talk to you about this year's team at Florida and how different you think the offense is going to be. They've got all these great running backs. They have an offensive line that hadn't shown they could run block yet. We know that.
Not yet.
Yeah, they got a quarterback that can run. I mean, do you think you're going to see a drastic change in the offense?
Yeah, I think Emory's going to run some and throw some, of course, and our defense hopefully is going to be better. But the national media magazines, that Phil Steele guy, had us 27.
Yeah, they're not getting any love.
I wonder why that is. I thought we'd be right behind Georgia. I can see why they want to pick Georgia this year with J.T. Daniels and so forth. But I would think, if we can beat Georgia, we got a chance to win the division, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because they don't have to beat Alabama to win the division.
Right.
You have to beat Georgia. And there's a lot of people who think this is the year Alabama doesn't win it.
I don't think they're going to win it all. They lost their quarterback, Najee, the running back, those 2 wide receivers, one won the Heisman. I know they got good players coming back, but maybe that give them a year off from winning a national championship and come back the next year or something.
Yeah. It'd be nice if somebody else won it.
Yeah, it is.
But just as long as it's not. But, I mean, I've seen, like, if I was picking my top 4 right now, it'd be Alabama, Oklahoma, who's supposed to be really good this year, Ohio State, Clemson. I mean, it just doesn't change. And
Texas A&M's getting a little love. They're getting some play there. But, it's the same.
Iowa State's getting a little bit, too.
Iowa State?
Yeah.
I can't see that happening, but it could.
They got good players. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, so that's great. We get Coach Spurrier. They can't have him at SEC Media Days. They're going to have to listen to Eli Drinkwitz and those guys.
But anyway, good to be with you, Pat.
All right, good to see you, Coach. I can't wait for the restaurant to open. I know that's coming soon.
Should be August 11 officially, and we'll have some events before then. The Gators have had some recruiting dinners there.
Sure.
With, prospects and parents. So, it's been well received thus far, and hopefully going to be even better received when we get open.
Look forward to it. Can't wait. We'll be back. Robbie Andreu is going to join us. We're going to continue with Not Necessarily SEC Media Days here on Another Dooley Noted Podcast. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Car accidents, trucking accidents, motorcycle accidents, and wrongful death. If injured or killed by the negligence of others, who will fight for the compensation you deserve? Shakow and Mercadante, 5 lawyers, more than 100 years of combined legal experience, millions in settlements and verdicts. Call Shakow and Mercadante, 371-3000. Rebuilding lives.
This is Pat Dooley encouraging you to become a member of the Gainesville Quarterback Club, the oldest organization anywhere dedicated to Gator football. The club meets weekly during football season with an impressive list of speakers, including Bobby Stoops, Bobby Bowden, Phil Fulmer, Steve Spurrier this year. Meetings are held at the Best Western Gateway Grand, and they have a special offer for you. The first 3 meetings you can attend for only $100. Believe me, this is a bargain, and trust me, you'll have a good time. Get off the bench, it's time to score for the Gators by joining the Gainesville Quarterback Club.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
All right, welcome back to our Another Dooley Noted Podcast, and this is our Not Necessarily the SEC Media Days. Of course, we are live in the Shakow and Mercadante studios. And now we are joined by the great Robbie Andreu, who I have spent a few media days with.
Yes, we have.
And driven up there.
It is weird that we're not there, kind of. It feels a little weird.
Very strange. Robbie's appearance is, of course, brought to you by Dr. Lauren Cartwright. You can reach her at ocalafamilydentistry.com. And we appreciate them coming on board for another 6 months. So that's kind of cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
In fact, somebody's got to pay his bills, so that's good. All right, Robbie, we're going to do a media days, but before we get started, we've got some things we got to do. And one of them I want to go ahead and get to because it's SEC related.
Yeah.
And that's this, that, and the other, which is, and he did say this, that, and the other when he was on the show.
Are you surprised by that?
No. He loves this, that, and the other. Well, this, that, and the other, which is presented by Darth Shakow Insurance, Ballyhoo Grill, and Ironwood Golf Course. We appreciate those sponsors and all the ones we have, believe me. All right, so this was the reason we got started with the NIL. The reason we got started with the NIL is in part because there were jerseys being sold with guys' numbers on it. If you remember, Robbie, Florida, I think it was 1998, said no longer are we going to sell jerseys with numbers.
They're just number 1 they put on it.
No, they put 98.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Remember?
The year.
And then 99 the next year. And I'm like, what are you going to put, 00 the following year? Well, the next year, I can't remember what they put, but Rex Grossman, when they wanted to have him come back for 2002, he said, "I'll come back, but you got to sell my jerseys." So they sold his jerseys. Well, yeah.
Imagine how much Tebow would have sold with his jersey.
And they did. I mean, Karen has a number 15 jersey now, sitting at home, a Gator jersey. But that was part of the whole thing, and we understood that. And most of us were saying, "Yeah, you guys are making all this money. They need to make a little money." So that is that there has been a slow drip of stories of people making money. This guy's getting this guy's getting that. The big story was down in Miami,
$6,000 per player.
Yeah, or the gym owner, and we'll see whether that works out.
What a recruiting advantage that would be, though.
Yeah. Now we come to the other, which is disturbing and makes me happy not to be in the newspaper business. 2 players at Texas A&M are getting paid $10,000 each to give exclusive stories to TexasAgs.com, which is a fan website.
That's unbelievable.
I'm not going to mention those players' names ever on this show for that reason. And this is exactly what we didn't want to see.
So now we're buying off players to give us exclusive stories. So.
Maybe we can get Emory Jones come in here. Let me see how much I gave you some money. Give it back.
I'll give it all to you.
Let's go. We'll go pay Emory Jones or Zach Carter or TJ
Ventrell Miller.
We can get TJ Daniels to come.
Yeah.
But it's disgusting to me, that part of it, when you're paying players to talk.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's not giving you the part of being a college football player.
Yeah.
That's part of your responsibility.
Here's the good part though that Mullen brought up today, Pat, that players that maybe you aren't big name players, but you could go back to their hometown and somebody there might want to have them endorse something.
Right.
So that would be a good thing, right? I've
got no problem with the NIL, but this is disturbing. This part of it, when they're paying. Now, what I haven't quite figured out, and nobody's really talked about yet, is are these guys, they say exclusive stories. Does that mean if this player, and again, I'm not going to mention their names, scores a winning touchdown, that the regular media can't talk
that
to
only
them?
He's going to give quotes to the. And how is this organization affording that?
Are they making that much? It's not them. They got it sponsored.
Oh, okay.
They got it sponsored. And I'm not going to mention that.
It's got to be a booster, probably.
Yeah. Big booster, yeah. So.
When are you going to pay like somebody $100,000 to house sit for a weekend? That could happen.
In theory.
If you're a big-time booster, come house sit for me.
I'll do it for free.
You will?
The big-time booster's house? You kidding me?
Get the pool.
So that is this, that, and the other here live at the Shack Allen Mercantile Studios, brought to you by Dar Shack Allen Insurance, Ballyhoo Grill, and Ironwood Golf Course. Okay, so Robbie and I are going to do not necessarily the media days. And for our first segment, Robbie is going to be Dan Mullen.
Oh, I am.
So here you go. Do you have your Jeezys on?
I'm in, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm wearing.
I think those look more like Asics.
They are.
I thought they would.
But they're custom made for me,
Okay. All right, Dan. Coach Mullen, I'm going to ask you the questions. He got a lot of these asked too, but I'm going to ask him different questions. Let me ask you this question, Coach Mullen.
Yes, Pat. Good to see you, by the way.
Yeah, good. You got to hunch over a little bit more. Get your Okay. Where do you want to be picked?
It doesn't matter to me, Pat. It's not where you start; it's where you finish. And I think I feel good about this team, and we feel good about each other. And wherever they put us at the start, we'll go with it and make the best of it.
So last year, the media picked Florida, and this year everybody's picking Georgia.
Yeah.
But you'd almost like to be picked third, because if you're picked third, you can light a fire.
Well, yeah, if you're going to go under the radar, what better way than to go really under the radar?
And yet, here's the thing that's funny about coaches. When they're asked, about where they're picked for anything, they always say, if they're picked high, they go, well, we want those expectations. Yeah. If they're picked low, they go, this will just serve as an incentive, and we don't really care.
But at Florida, Pat, we embrace those expectations. It's the way it should be, the way it always will be. So,
all right.
We want to play for a championship, and we won a championship last year. We want to go beyond that this year.
All right, Lieutenant Dan, how about this? Why will your defense be better this year?
Well, I think because we've had spring football, Pat. We'll have a full August. We've got good players across the board. Todd Grantham is a proven coordinator. And this is a defense that wants to prove itself after what they went through last year. So our players are highly motivated. I like the attitude of them, and they're going to be ready to play. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of people.
110th in pass defense.
That wasn't good, Pat, no. But we had moments where we were good all throughout on defense, but we had too many lapses where we kind of fell apart out there, and we're very inconsistent. So the key is to be consistent and play hard, and I think you're going to see a big difference in the defense.
As bad as the defense was, it was almost worse numerically. And he even mentioned that today, or you did.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, our stats can be a little misleading, Pat, because there were games where we go long stretches and the defense would shut people down, and then a lot of times, like I said earlier today, some of those games we had a big lead, and that kind of changes the way you play defense. You make teams go the long way and burn up the clock. which it worked every time we had a big lead.
And you were pretty good defensively after the first
Yeah.
2 series against Georgia.
Yeah.
In the
Very
biggest
good.
game
Yeah.
of the year. That's a good point.
Yeah, that
too.
was a great rebound by the defense in that game.
All right, how much, Coach Mullen, should we read into you not bringing Emory Jones here?
Well, you know, Pat, he hasn't started a game yet, and I wanted the defensive players to be in the forefront of this because they are highly motivated to turn things around. So we left Emory at home and brought the 2 defensive guys, and I think it was a good move.
Also, Anthony Richardson, everybody, there's people, like the best player on the team is always the backup quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I will say this, not always. Nobody last year was going, they're going to get Trask out of there.
No.
Nobody when Tebow was here was going, they're going to get Tebow out of there. When Warfel was there, you know, there was times when it was Terry Dean and they need to get the backup in there. But for the most part, if you haven't proven yourself especially, everybody loves the backup.
Yeah. But I think they're going to love Emory, too, the way he's waited his turn. He's been very patient, highly recruited out of high school. He's stuck with us. He's a much better player than when he got here. I think that he's going to take off now that he's the guy under center. And, you know, Richardson's going to have his day, too, and he's going to be ready to play every week. And, you know, maybe we'll play both quarterbacks in games. We'll see.
And that's what you did last year, or 2 years ago.
Yeah, Emory got
Mullen.
plenty of experience, and that's what's
Well,
going
not
to
only
happen.
that, but you had Trask was prepared to play. So
and I think everybody on the team learned the lesson of him.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't playing or starting, he was preparing every week as if he were going to play. And look how it paid off when he finally got in games.
All right, here's another question for you. This comes from some of the Alabama media.
Okay.
They want to know if you're worried about looking ahead to Alabama in your first 2 games.
All I'm worried about is making 3rd and 8 in the opener.
Wow.
What was the question again?
Are you worried
No, I'm
about
not
looking
worried.
ahead to Alabama?
No, I'm looking forward to that game. I think everybody is. It's going to be a great atmosphere in the swamp. And, you know, I've coached against Alabama quite a few times and had some success. And I think that it's going to be a great atmosphere and a great game.
Oh, well, you had success in Florida.
Yeah.
You didn't have success in Mississippi State.
No, well, we moved the ball well against them several games and had them on the ropes. So, you know me, Pat.
Now
I'm a
you're-
competitor.
Now you're a Mississippi
If you want to
State
thumb
coach.
wrestle me, I'm going to kick your ass. And if you want to run stadiums, I'm going to kick your ass.
Well, I know
So
you
that's
would.
where we're at.
I think both those things you could. But if we're going to play golf,
Okay.
Dan Mullen would kick my ass.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to play golf?
All right, this is a question you did not answer at SEC Media Days. You were asked this and you did not answer it.
Okay.
What is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Return of the Jedi. Isn't that your favorite, Pat?
That's the second one?
Yeah.
No, that's my least favorite.
What do you
My
mean?
favorite
That's the great
is
reveal.
the first one.
But that's the great reveal.
3. Evan says 3. No, because that's the third one is.
Oh, the Empire Strikes Back was the
Oh.
reveal. But Return of the Jedi is great.
No, 1 is the best. The first time you see that spaceship.
But what about 2 with the
Whatever.
reveal of Darth
reveal's
Vader,
good.
who I played after the Missouri game?
You did, and everybody's still ripping you for
Yeah,
it.
well, I had fun with it, so who cares?
Yeah, well, Dan Mullen's catching a lot of heat out
Well, like I said, if they want to compete, I'll kick their ass. As Darth Vader.
All right, you're off the podium now,
Okay.
Coach Mullen. We're going to go back to doing just some other topics that I wanted to talk about. And we'll start out by talking about the Leonardo's Quick Picks this week. It's going to be a very simple one. Where do you think Auburn is going to be picked in the SEC West? What spot? And that's interesting to think about.
Yeah, it is.
And what would you say, Rob? Because you know Alabama and A&M are going to be ahead.
And then I think LSU slips in, and then maybe Auburn 4.
And a lot of people are going to say, I like this Ole Miss team.
Well, yeah, there'll be a factor too. But Auburn, I would say 4th or 5th would be where I'd put them.
All right. So you've got Robbie's.
But there are a lot of unknowns about that Auburn team.
Robbie's expertise to tell you where they're going to go.
What we do know is they'll have fairly mediocre quarterback play because we've seen it already. Have we not?
Well, he's got a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Milo's Tea, whatever that is.
What's he making?
I don't know. Nobody's told me. All right. Here we're going to go 3 teams. I'm going to give you the M's, the M teams. Who will have a better record this year? Missouri, Mississippi, or Mississippi State?
I think Ole Miss, Pat.
You like that team?
Yeah, because they're really good on offense and they've got some good players on defense. I think they'll be a little better on defense, but when you can do what they did to Alabama's defense last year with Matt Corral throwing the ball, I think they could be pretty good. They could be the surprise team over there.
And the weird thing is with Mississippi State, I don't know with them, because one of the problems I have with them is they really fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, they started fast and then tumbled, and then it was
lost
like
4 in a row.
Yeah. And that's when people were saying, "Oh, this offense isn't going to work in this league,"
and people opted out, and there was a real problem.
Things are much more positive in Oxford than in Starkville.
I think a lot of people really like Missouri this year. In fact,
because of the quarterback and
Basilek. But again, he played at the end of the year.
Yeah,
he was pretty
true.
good. It's almost like you don't want to put anybody on any kind of a pedestal to play quarterback last year, because defenses didn't bother to show up.
Yeah, I know. Florida was not the only one that had the problem on defense. Everybody did.
All right, is there any chance that Vanderbilt and Arkansas are not picked to finish last in their division?
There's no way Vanderbilt's not going to be picked last.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel Arkansas will be better, but I think they're going to be picked last again, too.
Well, the part of the problem is they don't have Felipe.
Yeah. But I do think they're coming along, and I think they'll be better than they were this year, but I just don't. Who would you put them ahead of in that division? Mississippi State, maybe?
Mississippi State would be the only one I think I'd even consider.
Yeah. And that is a possibility.
Yeah. And I like Sam Pittman as a coach.
I do, too.
I just don't know that they're going to be
His
good.
players seem to like him, too. He's got that I'm a player's coach kind of mentality.
All right. We're going to take 5 teams here. We're going to play ceilings and floors.
Okay.
You tell us where the ceiling is.
In terms of wins?
Yeah, and where the floor is. And we'll start with the Mighty Gators. I mean, what do you see as the ceiling for this Florida football team?
I think 11 wins would be the ceiling, Pat. And the low point would be maybe 7.5.
7.5 or 7 and 5?
7 and 5.
7.5?
Yeah.
They won 0.5 a game. That would be something.
That'd be good.
I think you're absolutely right. And here's why. I don't see this team going 11-1. I think they're a 9-3 team. I don't see them going 11-1, but that is not out of the realm of possibility.
No.
Like if you somehow knocked off Alabama, and again,
then you're sitting pretty.
You get Alabama early, and that's going to give you a level of confidence that is going to be incredible. The problem is, let's say you lose to Alabama, which they're already 14-point underdogs.
Yeah. Then you've got problems ahead with LSU.
Kentucky on the road, Missouri on the road.
Yeah,
obviously Georgia.
It's a challenging schedule.
It is really. It's like not ridiculously hard, but it's harder than people I think are giving it credit.
But the way I look at it, Pat, this Florida team is going to be good enough to beat anybody on their schedule, including Alabama. Now, whether they do or not, that's going to depend on a lot of different things. But I think they can beat anybody on their schedule. They can beat everybody on it.
All right, let's take Tennessee. Well, ceilings and floors. Where do you have them?
Ceiling, 7 wins would be the highest at the very most, I would think. 4 might be the bottom. 4 wins.
4 would be the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about
4 for the floor.
Coach Mullen was very effusive in his praise of Josh Heupel today. But again, you want to praise a team that's down because they're not going to do anything.
I mean, Heupel has created a little excitement, Pat. But if you look at UCF under him, they got worse.
They did
as he went along. That is
the other problem they have.
Not a good sign.
They lost so many good players already.
Yeah.
I know they brought some in the transfer portal, but I think you hit it just about right with that. I think it may be 6-6, maybe the ceiling, and the floor maybe even lower.
Yeah.
Again, you have to look at the schedules too. A lot of these this year in the SEC, nobody's playing anybody. They're all playing one game.
Yeah.
One game non-conference, and that's it. And then who you draw from the other side. Now Tennessee obviously draws Alabama every year, and there's an L right there. All right, Kentucky, ceiling and floor.
Ceiling, I would say 8 wins. Floor, 5 wins, 6 wins.
Yeah, Kentucky's an X factor team.
They really are. I mean, Stoops has done a great job, but they've got some holes to fill on their team too right now. So.
Yeah, and he has done a great job, but I mean, I just don't. Like, you get scar tissue built up by watching Florida Kentucky games.
You do.
Where you're just going to go, yeah, I like this Kentucky team. Oh, they'll find a way
screw it
to
up
lose
at the
to
end.
Florida.
Yeah. But Stoops has done a great job developing talent over there, Pat.
He has, and they're probably may have one of the best offensive lines again in the country.
Yeah. Very physical.
But if all you have to do is stop the run, you can usually do it, even
Yeah.
if a good running team. All right, and then the team that to me is the biggest X factor of all, the LSU Fighting Tigers, Geaux Tigers. Where do you have their floor and ceiling?
Pat, the potential on that team is pretty unlimited, and I think they could win 11. They could go 11-1.
Yeah.
Lose to Alabama. They also could lose 6 games. Don't you think?
Well, they went 5-5 last year.
Yeah.
And they lost some games that are still incredulous, and they should have been. In fact, they should have been 3-7. They should have lost to Florida.
Yeah.
And they probably would have lost the next week if they didn't have that confidence built up by Florida's.
But it is
even
kind
at
of,
best 4-6.
Yeah, but they as usual they have kind of scary talent, Pat. And if Orgeron kind of gets out of the way, that makes them even more dangerous.
It was a
you
young
know what I'm
team.
saying?
Yeah, it was a young team, but they found ways to do crazy things. All right, last question for you on this segment. Other than Kaiir Elam, who would you like to, or who do you think from Florida deserves to be on first team preseason All SEC?
I think Zachary Carter, Pat. I think he's going to have a dynamic year. I mean, he plays in tackle.
He's saying all the right things.
And he's a very physical guy, and he is very driven to succeed. And I just have a feeling, he's going to have a huge breakout year for him.
All right, that will take a break right now. We have to do that. Then we have to come back with 3 things brought to you by Hand Law and the Adams Ribco Final Mount Rushmore. This is the last one I'm doing. This one's a good one. This is the 4 best announcers who were Gators. Now, this doesn't mean like Mick Hubert's, not in that category. I'm talking about guys who were Gators, or girls who were Gators, women, young ladies, who are the best announcers. What I would put on that Mount Rushmore.
One of them's, can we go old school on the one?
Well, just wait till we come
I'm not
back.
going to say anything.
All right, we'll come back and on not necessarily SEC Media Days, on Another Dooley Noted Podcast. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Ribco To Go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Ribco To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Car accidents, trucking accidents, motorcycle accidents, and wrongful death. If injured or killed by the negligence of others, who will fight for the compensation you deserve? Shackow and Mercadante, 5 lawyers, more than 100 years of combined legal experience, millions in settlements and verdicts. Call Shackow and Mercadante, 371-3000. Rebuilding lives.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
All right, welcome back to our not necessarily SEC Media Days here on Another Dooley Noted Podcast, presented by Titan MRI, live from the Shackow and Mercadante studios. And we have 2 things we still have to do, Robbie.
Yeah.
One is 3 things presented by Hand Law. 3 things presented by Hand Law is a law.
Florida law firm,
Say
Pat.
it. You read it this time.
It's a Florida law firm which helps clients with
You
government.
said firm.
Yeah, firm.
Firm.
Which helps clients with the government.
forget
You
it.
can
No, I'll do
learn
it.
more about Hand Law by visiting its website, www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville.
All right. 3 things is presented by Hand Law. That's all you really need to know.
Do it right now.
They are 3 things presented by Hand Law, a Florida law firm which helps clients with
There you
government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website, www.hand.law. The firm is available for
Consultation.
in Jacksonville. Chris Hand and I had lunch last week. What a great guy he is.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah,
Pat.
we're
That's
gonna
nice.
have to get him over here and have a couple of
Yeah.
cold ones with him. All right, so let us do 3 things. Number 1, low gator in the British Amateur was. I looked it up.
Lynn?
You didn't know.
Was it Lynn?
No, 3 gators made the cut.
They did?
Billy Horschel.
Oh, he was like 1 under?
1 over.
Oh, that's
was
not
the
bad.
the low gator from the British Open.
Did Lynn make the cut?
He did. Yuxin Lin, who is a junior at Florida, of course, transferred here from Southern Cal, and played for the Gators last year. Ended up 6 over. He had a bad 3rd round. I think he shot 5 over in that round. And Sam Horsfield finished 3 over. So all the Gators were over par, but they still
made the
all
cut.
made the cut, which is saying a lot.
What did Mickelson end up doing after the 2nd round? Where was
he? Shot 72.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
So he was 12
Not
over.
compared to 80, it's bad. It's not bad. He was not good.
No.
All right, second, watching the British Open was painful at times, mainly because of the commercials.
That was a problem.
It was unbelievable how many commercials they had.
And the playthrough thing bothers me because you can't really see what's going on.
Like you have to
just go away to a commercial.
You can't see
and
the guy's name. Even.
Yeah, and you couldn't see the ball even when it was a full screen with the sun out.
And because the television coverage comes from England.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like NBC sends its cameras over there. It's a
the feed from the BBC.
Feed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's BBC or Sky, but whatever it's from. There were like times when you would see guys putt and they'd be blocking the hole.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did it go in or not?
I know they have terrible angles. Like a couple of them, I just saw the ball disappear. I didn't know where the hole was.
I'm not going to go full Bianchi because Bianchi used to say, the British Open's terrible. The grass is all brown. No, it's a great golf course.
I love it. I love links golf. Yeah, me too.
But the coverage is just, and I remember one time ripping it, and I got a text from Steve Melnick, who was on the broadcast, and he said, we have to take this feed. That's why it was like that. And I go, oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're limited on what they show.
Wasn't your fault. It was their fault.
Yeah.
And finally, number 3, enjoy media days, but always remember this. It's still 6 weeks until the first game. Okay, we all love media days and we love talking about it, even when we're not there. Robbie, I will watch it all day tomorrow.
Yeah, I will too, Pat.
All day Wednesday as well.
You know, the great thing is we don't have to work after we watch.
We don't. We can watch and we can turn it off at any point, and we're not going to feel like we're going to miss something. But I will say, it's still one of the coolest things. I enjoyed even watching the Big 12s the other day. The Big 10s is getting ready to start. The ACC is getting ready to start, but. Don't think that football season's almost here. It's not almost here. It is a long way off.
You know what was classic today, though, Pat? Looking at some of the writers when they ask questions, all wearing jackets in that room.
Oh, God.
It's like because it gets so cold in there.
That one time, Bianchi.
You don't miss that.
Bianchi had his hoodie on. He's like freezing. He's like sitting there. I can't type.
Interlocking.
but yeah, no, it is. They set I guess they are, because there's so many people there, they're worried about it getting too warm because there's a lot of the body heat. It never gets too warm.
They freeze you out instead.
Yeah, they do. All right. So, again, thanks to Hand Law for being a sponsor. We love Chris Hand over there in Jacksonville, and appreciate them being the sponsor of 3 things. Finally, the Adams Rib Co. This is the final Mount Rushmore. On Friday, we will shift gears and do some other things with the Adams Rib Co. Probably do Gators of the Week, and we'll come up with another way to do it. But I think you guys are probably – I've done pretty much all the Mount Rushmores you want to hear, but this one is the announcers, and there's one that to me that's the obvious one, and that's Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah.
I mean, to be on Monday night or Sunday night football.
Yeah.
He could be on whatever night football he wants. I mean, he's the best. He's the best there is.
See, I thought you were going to do radio play-by-play guys.
No.
Okay. I got you now.
No, because
I got you.
That would be. There's only been 4.
Yeah.
What has it been? Mick, David Steele.
Otis Boggs. What about Red Barber?
Red Barber. Boom. There's Mount Rushmore.
Okay, well, there it is. Red Barber should be on there.
I'm saying you got to make some choices here.
Okay.
All right, so
Collinsworth I could see on there,
Collinsworth's
definitely.
number 1. And number 2 is Jesse Palmer, because he has made, not only has he been a Good Morning America,
Bachelor,
but obviously he does a great job on the ESPN broadcast.
He's made a great career out of this.
He really has. And this is a guy that they had to hire a speech coach, because when he was calling plays, he would say them so fast they couldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't understand what he was calling.
That is an amazing story. He is. I mean, he never was really much in terms of a great quarterback, but he's turned into, a great media person.
He did play in the NFL briefly.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Did he play or did he make a team?
He made a team.
Okay.
He did play a little bit, but not much. All right, number 3 is Erin Andrews. She's done so well and everything. I mean, Dancing
you
with
could
the
definitely.
Stars,
Yeah.
and obviously the sideline work and everything she does, and I love her to death. She's kind of like a little sister to me.
What about Andy North?
Yeah.
We've been over this one before.
We have, but I almost wanted to bring up that I wanted to bring up Andy North because it would be another chance to leave him off a list.
So he's left off.
He's left off.
All right. He's a Badger.
I don't like him. No, you know who I put on there
He doesn't like you
instead?
either, apparently, right?
No, he doesn't. We had a problem. You know who I put on there instead as the 4th one? And it's you heard him this weekend, Gary Koch.
Oh, he's really good.
He's really good. To me, it's and it was amazing. And I'm trying not to be a Gator here, but it was Gary Koch, and then it would be Paul Azinger, and I go, great comment, cliche. Great comment,
you're
cliche.
right, Pat. You're right. I like Azinger, but you're right. There's a big difference between the two of those.
One time he said he's got the guts of a burglar, and my wife's like, what the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
Well,
I had
it's
a
an
problem
old
with that
cliche
too.
from the 20s.
You're not afraid of anything. You go in there and do your job.
The guys I put on here that I couldn't quite get over the hump on to put them on there, and one of them is Chris Doring. Chris Doring has done
He's done a real good job,
James
too.
Bates certainly has been tremendous, done a great job. Cardozo, who's the voice of Gator baseball and has done so well. And another one, you talk about old school, I thought this is the guy you were going to bring up. Bob Murphy was great.
Oh, I loved him in golf, yeah.
He was tremendous. Sometimes I watch those old clips, and there he is on.
Yeah, he was really good.
All right, Robbie, that's going to do it for
I like that Mount Rushmore, though. That's a good one.
Thanks, good. Maybe we'll do another one.
Okay.
All right, so that's going to do it for not necessarily SEC Media Days. It's going to do it for another episode of Another Dooley Noted Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We tried to have a lot of fun with it. Friday, one of the Gator greats of all time. You millennials won't know this guy, but Steve Tannen is going to join us.
Oh, that is a great one.
Yeah, and one of the great players in Florida history will join us. So we're looking forward to that. I think we may have one other guest to talk SEC Media Days. All that and more. Thank you all to all our sponsors. Thank you to Robbie. And thank you to
Dan Mullen.
And to Dan Mullen, who joined us. Steve Spurrier joined us. Philip G joined us live from the parking lot. Hopefully
What a show.
Hopefully you guys had a fun time today. And thanks so much to Evan. The guts. He's got the guts of a cat burglar.
He does.
He does. We'll be back with another episode on Friday. Till then, Pat Dooley and Robbie Andreu saying so long from the Sunshine State.